Regular viewers will know that I care about your money being wasted, and every week I do sit down with the Taxpayers Alliance and look at public money and look for examples of where basically your money and my money has been wasted. And this time, this is a planned music festival which featured stars such as Rita Ora. It was cancelled, costing the taxpayer £360,000. Joining me on the sofa to discuss this is John O'Connell, who is the Chief Executive of Taxpayers Alliance, and also the man that I've just had to tell, get out of my way, because with about 3 seconds to go before my segment, he was casually meandering in front of the camera. But you're seated now and you're well, so tell us this story.
Yeah, ready to go. Derbyshire, Derby and Burton NHS Foundation Trust have a private company that they 100% own, and this company was putting on a music festival. It failed to sell enough tickets, so it didn't go ahead, which cost taxpayers £360,000. I think there's another element to this story.
Hang on, start at the beginning. Who was this festival for? The staff or for public?
For the public.
Right.
They were going to hold it in, I believe, a park in Derbyshire somewhere. And it didn't go ahead because there wasn't enough interest. Now, normally you'd say, you know, if you're an entrepreneur, you take those risks and you bear the brunt
sorry,
yourself.
I need to go back again. Why is the NHS... see, I'm sorry. I mean, sometimes, I know I am indeed, I've got blonde hair and everything, but sometimes you need to go slowly with me. Why is the NHS putting on a music festival for members of the public? What am I missing?
So their logic is that this company, which they call D-Hive, is supposed to make profits, which they then inject back into the NHS.
Right.
However, of course, as you rightly say, it's not the job of the NHS to be doing this. It's the job of the NHS to be treating sick people. And, you know, indeed, if they feel short of funds, then they ought to be going about the right way of getting more money from government.
I do applaud the entrepreneurialism, though. I've got to say, if you're in the NHS and you're lacking a life-saving whatever piece of equipment, and you're sitting there, you're not getting the money from, in this case, Boris Johnson, you sit there and you go, right, what can I do to get the funds for whatever piece of equipment I need? It is quite entrepreneurial. I mean...
The spirit might be commendable, but what happens is you end up losing taxpayers' money. We've seen it in other sectors before, of course, when local government lost lots of money investing in Icelandic banks in 2008 and lost a load of taxpayers' money. Managed to claw some of it back, admittedly, but they lost taxpayers' money. A lot of commercial investments that some local authorities make don't end up making the money that they thought they were. It's not the job of the public sector to play speculator with taxpayers' money.
Right.
It simply isn't. It's to provide services at a reasonable cost.
So you don't think they should be speculating to accumulate?
No, not at all. That's for the private sector to do.
Right.
Because with every success, as you know, for an entrepreneur, comes a lot of failures. And the interesting thing about this, of course, is they'll tell you all about the successes, but they try to hide this.
But luckily you're here.
Well,
you're here to shine a light on them.
And some, you know, some tough local journalists in Derbyshire who went to court to get this information out of the NHS Trust, who refused to disclose it. So what it shows you is, yes, they'll brag about the successes, but they won't tell you about the failures when they lose taxpayers' money.
So 360k. That's just gone. And in order for us to find out about that, someone had to take them to court to get that information disclosed.
Absolutely. Yeah, a Freedom of Information request was sent by Derbyshire Live, some good local journalists trying to get to the bottom of this, and they were refused because, as I said at the top, Derbyshire Foundation Trust had a private entity, so they tried to say it's a private company, almost nothing to do with us. But it went to court. And after 2 years, they eventually had to disclose that £360,000 of taxpayers' money was lost.
And I'm assuming that they will have had to pay the legal fees as well, / we. When I say they, we, as taxpayers, I'm assuming would have had to pick up an element of the bill at least for the legal costs in taking this to court and fighting it.
As ever.
You look to me like you're desperate, itching to come in. Are you, or are you just uncomfortable on the sofa?
I am. No, well, I'm comfortable on the sofa, Michelle. But no, I mean, this is an extraordinary story because, actually, I'm not against entrepreneurialism in the public sector, but an obvious example here, if a NHS trust was going to set up a private company, it would be a company that was trying to exploit the expertise, the technology, the capacity of the NHS, like, for example, working with those that are lucky enough to have private health insurance, for example. That seems about right. But since when has the NHS been, music moguls and been able to organise big music festivals? It's just bizarre.
Yeah, I agree, and there's a certain element of mission creep in this as well. And if it is to do with sort of life sciences or improved technology actually in healthcare, then you can make some arguments for some partnerships with the private sector. But in this case, it's £360,000 that could have been spent on nurses' wages.
Well, indeed, and we're always being told, aren't we, make sure you protect the NHS and do your bit, and that's just why I really don't like to see such wastage. And half of me, I like entrepreneurial endeavours, but I also like those ones that work, and like you say, I really would prefer not to be paying for the failure of such things by entities that are supposed to be saving our lives. But anyway, thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Michelle.
We all like to know about our money being wasted, so do keep up that good work.